What's happening, everyone? This is Lesky back with another FIFA 23 Pro Clubs video. I'm excited to show y'all this new attacker build that I created. For me, it's the best and most dominant build I've used all year. It's capable of doing anything in attack because of how well-rounded it is. And on top of that, it is extremely pacey, probably the fastest build I've used. It has the lengthy accelerate run style, which will help a lot with those long distance runs, getting down the sideline as a winger, or getting in behind the defense as a striker. I designed this build for the winger position, but trust me, it will be very successful as a striker, center forward, and you could possibly even use it as a cam. I don't know if that would be great as a lengthy player, but with the passing stats you have on this build, it could work as a playmaker type role. But before we dive into this build, let's take a look at some of the clips that I got while using it. It's literally explosive and lengthy combined.
That's true. You should literally post it saying explosive and lengthy.
And you can make these passes.
Bouncing right to my...
No bad post. Loft it up to me. You got the crossing. There's the power of the build.
GG. Where am I?
Nice.
That's crazy.
I'm sneaking in. Look at chilling right here. There we go.
You're on. Perfect.
Thank you. No way, I just slid and avoided.
Wrap is fast.
Bro, when you do that move right there, it's like you get 10 feet of space.
Look at that pass.
Oh, that's you.
I'm getting it.
Oh! Or even a decent free kick. Close. There's a green shot.
That
Nice.
was a beautiful shot. Okay, that's even better.
Whoa!
You're
That
insane.
that long leg
That was-
again.
You're all the way. You're all the way. Keep, real keep.
Say that.
Hey,
Say that, green time.
Holy crap, he said that's going in.
Too much
don't
power, boy. So as I was saying, this build has the lengthy accelerate run style, and that's one of the reasons this build is so good. But if you're on the old gen version of the game, you can still give this build a try. Just keep in mind, I don't think it'll be nearly as fast or dominant because there's no accelerate run styles on the old gen version of the game. This build was mostly just designed for the new gen version. So looking at the position, height, and weight, you're going to be listed as a right mid or left mid on this build. This position is one of the best positions in the game along with the left wing, right wing. But left mid, right mids give you good physicals to start out. So it's actually pretty easy to make this build lengthy. The height I went for is 6'4". That'll also help make this build lengthy because the taller you go, the more strength you get and then the less agility you get. And if you don't already know, in order to be lengthy, you have to have 14 or more strength than agility on the skill tree. The weight I went for is 152 pounds. You can go anywhere in between 152 and 174. Don't go any higher or lower. I have it at 152 because for some reason you have like a skinnier, leaner body type, and I just like how that looks and feels in game. So if you go over 152, you'll have more of an average body type. My preferred foot is right footed, but that's completely up to you guys. Let's take a look at the perk page. If you are wanting to give this build a try for yourself, I'd highly suggest trying these 3 perks on it first. Skill Dribbler, Active First Touch, and Poacher. Each 3 of these perks will upgrade a lot of your attributes. Skill Dribbler and Active First Touch will upgrade some dribbling attributes. So when it comes to the dribbling page on the skill tree, I don't need to add a lot of skill points there because these 2 perks, once you get in game, it'll upgrade the dribbling even more and make the build feel very good on the ball. You'll see what I'm talking about once we get to the skill tree. And the same thing goes for Poacher. The shooting stats on the skill tree don't look amazing, but with the Poacher perk in game, every time you take a shot inside the box, it'll upgrade a lot of the shooting stats. But if you do want to switch the perks up a bit, I'd recommend taking off Active First Touch or Poacher. Definitely keep Skilled Dribbler. That's what will help the dribbling the most. But if you don't care about maxing out the shooting stats, then you could go maybe for another passing perk. Kind of just depends what position you're going to use this build in. You could go for a crossing perk, distance shooter, threaded pass, physical strength could be a good option. If you want to help out on defense a bit, maybe chase down. You really have some flexibility if you want to take off Poacher or Active First Touch. But again, this build works best with these 3 perks on it, or at least that's just my opinion. Let's now head on over to the skill tree. One thing that is different about this build compared to other wingers that you may have seen is the physicals, especially the strength. We have 90 strength on this build. Most wingers you see are very weak. They're probably listed in like the left wing, right wing position, and their physical stats are very bad to start out. And this strength helps us get this build to be lengthy. We need 14 more strength than agility. So we have 90 strength, completely maxed it out. And then we even maxed out the stamina at 94 with 84 jumping, 92 reactions, and 80 aggression. So all these physical attributes are 80 or higher. Don't forget about the second sections right here for the reactions upgrades. For dribbling, as I was saying, this build does not have a lot of skill points here, and it doesn't need to have a lot of skill points because we have skill dribbler and active first touch, which will upgrade all these dribbling attributes into the 90s. There's a spreadsheet out there telling you the exact upgrades that each perk gives your build. So with those upgrades from skill dribbler and active first touch, this build will feel very good on the ball. So I just went for the 5-star skills. I'm a huge fan of skilling, especially on attacker builds. If you don't want the 5-star skills, and maybe just even want to go 3-star skills, you can take off these skill moves, and then you'll have 5 or 10 skill points that you can work with. Just don't put those skill points on the dribbling page. You don't need it. I'd suggest putting it on passing, physical, or shooting, especially long shots if you want to put it on the shooting page, because we do have the poacher perk on this build already. So you can see that I didn't go for either of the archetypes on this page, and that'll help save us a lot of skill points, and a big reason why this build is so well rounded. It gives us more skill points to put in other categories. Don't forget about this second section for the +2 balance. And if any of y'all that haven't seen or heard about the spreadsheet, I'll put the link to the spreadsheet in the description of this video if you want to check it out. The passing is actually one of my favorite parts about this build. We have 89 vision, 90 crossing, 85 long pass, 85 short pass, and 86 curve. The 90 crossing will be extremely helpful if you're using this build on the wing. And even as a striker, I'm sure you'll be running wide a lot. This build is so fast, it's so easy to get down the line. Especially if you're in a 2-striker formation. Having a striker that's able to cross to the other striker is very beneficial. 89 vision, you can hit those through balls over the top, as well with the 85 long pass and short pass. And then 86 curve will help your passes and also your shots, like your outside foot shots and finesse shots. I really like the passing ability on this build. And again, don't forget about this second section for the +3 vision. If you are going to use this build as a striker, you could possibly take off some of these passing upgrades like this vision and this crossing. You'll still have very good passing attributes, as you can see, but you'll save 6 skill points, and I'd suggest maybe putting that on jumping, because jumping's pretty important as a striker. We're 6'4", this build will be very good in the air, even without the extra jumping upgrades, but you could completely max out the jumping, I think, if we go back to the physical page and do something like this, and then you'll have 1 skill point, which I'm not too sure where you would put that. I think you would put that on like long shots or somewhere on the shooting page, but that could be an option if you want to take off some passing stats and just use this build as a striker. These shooting attributes are actually not too bad for a winger build if you want to take off the poacher perk and try something else. But if you're using this build at striker, I'd definitely use the poacher perk, because that'll upgrade a lot of these shooting attributes while taking shots in the box. I believe that spreadsheet that I was referencing says it'll give you +15 finishing and +15 volleys. So we'll have 99 finishing and 99 volleys on this build. And then it'll give you +10 shot power and heading. So we'll have 98 heading and 98 shot power every time you're taking a shot inside the box. So this build will be very clinical for you when you have the poacher perk on. And on top of that, this build has the 5-star weak foot, so you don't have to worry about what foot you're shooting or passing the ball with. If you haven't predicted it already, this build has max pace at 88 acceleration and 97 sprint speed. It is so fast with the lengthy accelerate run style on the new gen version of the game. And then you'll have active first touch kicking in, boosting your acceleration and sprint speed even more. For me, it feels like this build is almost a mix of explosive and lengthy. To start out, like when you're not sprinting, and then you just hold the right trigger, the sprint button down all the way, You absolutely burst so fast, it's kind of ridiculous and it seems very broken, and then you just don't slow down because of the lengthy run style, just maintaining that top speed the entire time. So let me know what you think of this build if you give it a try. Hit that like button on this video for me, and then don't forget to hit that subscribe button on my channel if you haven't already done so. As always, you all have a great rest of y'all's day, and peace out.
See, I knew what I screwed up on last time. I didn't go to the left enough. So that time I was like, okay, I'm aiming far left. Like, and obviously poacher. Okay, flip him over. Right? Like, wait a minute, I want a little bite. I want a bite, bro. Give me that.
He just got embarrassed so hard, bro.